Alright guys, welcome to the very first UFC Money Train show. This weekend we have UFC 257, Conor McGregor versus Dustin Poirier 2. We're going to be going through this card, looking for any of the fights that we think we can make money on. It doesn't matter how. If we think there's a prop, a straight, or a round bet that we can make money on, that's what we're going to do. We're going to talk about every matchup on the main card and a few on the prelims that I think are worth taking a look at to make some money on. We have a really good card. Just preface this with saying, guys, nothing's ever a lock in gambling. Anyone that's been around knows that. It's UFC. It's a fist fight, guys. You never know what's going to happen. So these are strictly my opinions. Nothing's ever guaranteed or a lock. But I'm going to tell you what I see and what I think would be wise to put your money in, as far as if you want to put it in the best position possible. So we'll go ahead and kick it off. Also, guys, just real quick before I go into the fights, please, this is my very first video I've ever made, so please, guys, just like the video. It would be huge. Tell your friends about it, guys. Anyone that likes UFC, just pass this along. Comment, let me know what you guys want to see. Like I said, I'm really going to be trying to put out at least one video before every event, so please, guys, hit the like button, subscribe, and yeah, let's get into the fights. Yeah, heck yeah. Alright, so we're going to start off with Makhmed Muradov versus Andrew Sanchez. Guys, first, just a little about Andrew Sanchez. He has been typically known as a grappler, wrestler. He usually is very good at pressuring guys and does everything he can to get a takedown. He even will overextend himself at times. A lot of times he will show that signs of that in the third round. As far as his cardio goes, he's been known to give up a lot of third rounds, but he is one of those guys that can dig deep and find it anyways. But his cardio does fall off a cliff compared to the pressure that he starts the fight with. However, his last fight against Wellington Turman, he did get the knockout, which is rare for Sanchez, but his striking has improved every single fight. So, will he be falling in love with striking and want to do that more? I think he will, but he always has that wrestling to fall back on. Then we got Makhmed Muradov, fantastic striker, signed to Mayweather's money team, the only fighter in the UFC that's done that. He has great boxing. Cardio is kind of questionable. His last fight looked a lot better. He has been known to fade in the third round, though. He has great combos, great counters. His head movement is insane. He will goat people into trying to strike him by his head movement, by leaving his head out in the open with his hands down low so he can counter. That's what he's trying to get people to do. Eventually it's going to cost him, but he's so quick and smooth that he gets away with it. Has been a 15-month layoff for Makhmed, and this was sort of a shorter notice fight camp for him. I think Makhmed is the favorite. I think he's sitting around minus 140 right now. Sanchez, you can find plus 120, plus 125. I don't know so much about betting this straight up. I originally was thinking Makhmed Muradov. He's a fighter that's actually made me some money in the past. He's a guy that I like. I think he is really good on his feet. I just am not sure what Andrew Sanchez we're going to get, but I think that we can count on Muradov getting round 3. And I think that with his striking, we can count on him getting at least one of the other first 2 rounds. So I think that Sanchez is tough. I think Muradov is tough. I think this fight's going to go to a decision. First off, you got the over 2.5 sitting at minus 145. Fight to go to a decision sitting around minus 120, minus 125. That's not a decent. That's a decent way to look. But another way to look would be Makhmed Muradov by decision at plus 320, which is the bet that I made. And I locked in. I think that's a great bet. I put a half unit down on Makhmed Muradov decision plus 320. Alright, guys, we're going to go to a women's fight. We're going to go to the Juliana Pena versus Sarah McMahon fight. Let's talk about Sarah McMahon first, guys. She's 40 years old. Completely jacked, though, guys. Just take a look at her if you've never seen her or can't remember. Take a look at her Saturday night in that cage. I mean, her arms are jacked. I mean, for a 40-year-old female, even for a fighter, it's insane. So she's going to have the strength advantage, no doubt. She was an Olympic silver medalist, so no doubt she is a wrestler, true and true. That's what she does. Her hands aren't great, but she uses them to set up takedowns. I mean, that's what she does. I mean, wrestling is her game plan. The game plan is wrestling. Wrestling is her game plan. You understand. So her top control is super strong. Not much to go for submissions. She has struggled with jiu-jitsu artists in the past. Has been known to fade in later rounds. Also 40 years old. We all know that 40-year-olds, whether female or male, they usually start to fade. Especially cardio is something that goes out pretty quick. And she hasn't done well against top-level competition throughout her life as well. That's the other thing that's scary. Juliana Pena. So, Juliana Pena, she has fought the top of the division. She definitely has better striking than Sarah McMahon, without a doubt. When this fight's on the feet, Juliana Pena has the advantage. She can be active off her back when she has been taken down and go for sub, but that's not really her strength. But what scares me most about this is Juliana Pena has been taken down a lot. In pretty much every one of her fights, she gets taken down. And that scares me. You're going up against a silver medalist, Olympic wrestler. Yeah, I think this fight, the way it goes, is Sarah McMahon has a really strong first round. Maybe gets one or two takedowns, a lot of top control in the round. Implements some ground and pound. Clear round 1 for McMahon. Round 2 comes out. McMahon starts out strong. Maybe gets a takedown. Pena maybe works a little off her back a little closer. Round 2, but probably McMahon. And then I think round 3 comes and Pena maybe starts to take over or doesn't let McMahon get the takedown because she starts to fade. I really I like McMahon a lot in this fight. I think overall that she just has the better skill set with the wrestling, and that it's just proven that she goes to that time and time again, and we know what we're going to get with her. I don't see McMahon getting a finish, so I don't think it's worth putting down, playing her straight when I could get plus 160 decision. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to play Sarah McMahon to win by decision at plus 160. All right. All right, guys, and we are now on to the main event of UFC 257. So we're at the pay-per-view. We're going to start with Amanda Ribas versus Marina Rodriguez. And guys, let's start with Amanda Ribas. She's going to be a big favorite in this fight. Sitting at minus 315, guys. That's a 75% implied probability. So when we look at this fight, we automatically, if we want to have any value on this, we have to say that if Amanda Ribas, if she fights this fight 100 times, she's going to win at least 75 out of 100 times. So at least 75%. But really, if you want value, my rule is at least 5% value. So I'm going to have to say that she needs to be winning this fight 80% of the time. That's hard to do with any fighter, but let's take a look. So the thing with Amanda Ribas is she has taken down every opponent she has fought. She typically uses her striking in order to get the takedown. She uses a lot of body lock trips in the clinch, and then she uses judo throws. Her striking has greatly improved, and against other fighters such as Mackenzie Dern, Randa Marcos, other fighters who aren't striking isn't their specialty, she has actually been the better striker, and she's shown constant improvements. The only problem is she's fighting against a striker at a level she's never fought in Marina Rodriguez this time. The other thing about Ribas is she hasn't reacted well to punches in her life. Every time that she's got hit with a big shot to the face, she hasn't reacted very well to it, guys. I don't know how well she can take the damage. It seems to show really easily as well. So I don't know, we'll see. But if this fight gets to the ground, Ribas clear advantage. So we go up to Marina Rodriguez. Marina Rodriguez, guys, she should have a clear advantage on her feet in my opinion. Really good in the clinch, good at Muay Thai. That's kind of her background, which is kind of creates an interesting, stylistic matchup, because Ribas is the kind of girl who wants to get in the clinch to get that trip body lock takedown, but Marina Rodriguez likes the clinch because she likes to throw her elbows and Muay Thai and knees and all of that. She's so good with her knees and elbows in the clinch, guys, and should just be interesting to see what happens there. If when Ribas is trying to get in that clinch, she takes a couple big shots. I think that's Marina's path to victory. It is scary to me because she gave up a lot of takedowns versus Carla Esparza. She does stay really active when she gets taken down. She works off her back, elbows, everything else. The problem is that she's not really looking to get up. So that's a little scary to me. But she's super aggressive, guys. Long on her feet. But she has fought more legitimate competition, So that is something to take into account, too. I think the line's a little bit too wide. I think Ribas probably pulls this one out. But you know what I do like? I think Marina's path to victory, and probably her only path to victory, in my opinion, is the KO. And I'm sitting here staring at the KO at plus 1100, plus 1150, actually on a couple sites. So I think I'm going to lock in a little stab on Marina Rodriguez. I might put a quarter unit on that at plus 1100 and see if we can hit a big prop. And so yeah, that's the way I'm going to go. I'm going to go Marina Rodriguez KO with the upset. But guys, this should be a really interesting fight, and it should really let us know what level both these girls are on. So yeah. All right, guys. So the next fight on the card was actually supposed to be Matt Frevola, versus Ahmed Azaitar, and that fight was canceled. Actually, Friday morning, this morning. Ahmed Azaitar broke protocol. Apparently, he had somebody they cut off their wristbands, and had somebody sneak him out to somebody else who wasn't supposed to be in the bubble and bring him in, and they brought him this mysterious bag, and they scaled these hotel windows and balcony, and we have no idea what this mystery bag is, and now all of a sudden Ahmed Azaitar, who had a lot of local support there on Fight Island, is now not only not fighting on his card, he is actually out of the UFC. So just a crazy story. If you guys haven't seen it, just look into it, man. There's a couple interviews with Dana talking about it, just saying how wild it was. And man, I really want to know what the hell was in that bag, man. Well, it was so important they had to do that to get it to him, but it's just crazy. But anyways, yeah, he was supposed to fight Matt Frevola, and that fight's obviously not going to happen. However, Matt Frevola is lucky because he is going to be able to have a replacement fight, guys. Super lucky because the fight between Nasrat Haqparast and Arman Tsarukyan, sorry guys, he has a tough name, has been canceled because Haqparast was ill before weigh-ins, didn't even get to weigh in. So Arman is going to get to fight Matt Frevola. The odds just came out for that. Frevola is like a plus 500 underdog. We know a little about Arman. Arman, guys, he beat Oban Mercier last. He just goes for takedowns, relentless. I think he was like 2 for 11 against Oban Mercier on the takedowns. His cardio does start to fade, but his wrestling honestly wasn't that super standout. I mean, he only got 2 for 11, and that's what's crazy to me is that it's such a wide line to start against Matt Frevola, who's also a pretty good wrestler, and I don't know, Frevola is just this junkyard dog, just this scrappy guy, the guy. He's somebody that you kind of like to fight for your money, but at the same time, it is a little risky, and I haven't really, looked into that specific matchup between Matt Frevola and Arman. But guys, that is going to be the fight. No bet for me, but it might be interesting to see. Guys, I'm going to sit back and watch that one, and that should be a fun one. But yeah, guys, crazy story with Ahmed Azaitar. All right, we're going to go to the next fight. It's another female fight. We have Jessica I versus Joanne Calderwood. This one I'm going to be real brief and quick on, guys. Just be honest with you. I have no bet on this one. This, to me, is a stay-away fight. This is one of those fights that I think we're all going to watch, and at the end, everyone's going to say, I have no idea, and it's going to be one of those 29-28 split decisions. And nobody's going to be upset. Nobody's really going to know who won or who didn't. It's going to be one of those close fights, guys. Jessica I comes into this super, she has a really good standing game. She's really good at throwing back and forth in exchanges. She's good at getting up from takedowns. excuse me, she does give up takedowns, but I don't think she's gonna have to worry about that with Joanne Calderwood. She missed weight her last couple fights, although she did make weight this time, so seems to have got that back in the case. However, she is one of those ladies that I have marked down as fight IQ questionable. If your fight IQ is questionable, I will not put money on you. Simple as that. That's my number one thing when I look at it, is are you smart in the ring? And she's been questionable in the past, so I cannot bet on her. However, I cannot bet on Joanne Calderwood either. She is more of the kickboxing style. She likes to throw a lot more kicks. Boxer versus kickboxer kind of style. Jessica is more of a boxing style. Calderwood's the kickboxer. Interesting stylistic matchup. There's been a few of those throughout UFC history, and the boxing matchups have been known to typically get the better of the kickboxing styles, but there's exceptions to every rules, and you never know. This fight to me is very, very even, guys. Calderwood plays the distance game. She's in and out. This is just a stay away from, right? This just screams split decision to me. In my opinion, if I had a book that offered a split decision prop, I would just bet the split decision prop. But yeah, guys, that'll be it for that. Alright, guys, we are now to the co-main event. We have Dan Hooker versus Michael Chandler. We'll start with the newcomer, Michael Chandler, the ex-lightweight Bellator champion. So, Michaall Chandler, wrestler first. He was a Division I NCAA wrestler, standout. Very good all-around skills. However, he does have a lot of weaknesses. He has kind of fallen in love with his hands, and he has mostly relied on his striking recently. He's the kind of guy that stands very heavy on his lead leg. He has a very wide stance, heavy on his lead leg. He tries to control the distance. However, when he does decide that he wants to go forward, it's just quick bursts that he will make forward. And when he comes in, it's so crazy because his hands sometimes are high, sometimes they're low, but his head is always high and open. And he just throws these crazy, reckless shots. To me, it just seems really sloppy. It seems like any good counter striker is going to be able to catch him, and that has happened to him recently. And he continues to do this. I see this in every one of his fights, that he has a similar style of coming in like the way that he does. Because he stands so wide and far out, that he has to get in. He has to charge in to get into that boxing range. And he just seems so many times, more often than not, his chin's exposed. He throws that wide hook, and he just seems that the middle is open for that knee, for the counter hook, for the counter uppercut. Something crazy, in my opinion, a KO shot, at least a shot to hurt Chandler, which has happened to him against anybody that's a good counter striker. That's his style, and he relies on his striking. Because if he lands one of his bombs when he blitzes in like that, it's powerful, and he does get knockouts. And in my opinion, in this fight, if Chandler can decide to use his wrestling and not rely so much on those blitzkrieg attacks, that he could actually have a good chance against Dan Hooker. So let's talk about Dan Hooker. First off, Dan Hooker is going to have a 6-inch reach advantage in this fight. Yeah, 6 inches. And you better believe that Dan Hooker is going to use this, all right? Here's the thing, guys. Dan Hooker, he 19 of 21 takedowns in his last, I believe that's his last 3 or 4 fights, 19 and 21. Pretty good defensive takedown. He said it himself. He's the worst matchup for Michael Chandler in the top 10 of the lightweight division. Is that true? I don't know, guys. Maybe. But here's the thing about it. His gas tank's great for 3 rounds. Okay? It really is. It's going to be no issue for Dan Hooker. Dan Hooker is great at countering. That's what he does. He is so good at reading what people are doing, and his team is great at that too, and they communicate to that to him during the fight, and he is so good at reading the other guy and fighting. There's no way he's not going to see. If Chandler does that thing where he does that blitz in, he is going to get countered. He will. He'll get wobbled. He'll get knocked down. The other thing is that with him being Chandler being so heavy on his lead leg, Hooker loves that leg kick. and that's going to be a weapon that's going to soften Chandler up. I also think that that's going to play a factor into this too, guys. I think Dan Hooker should be closer to minus 200 in this spot. I think he's being a little bit disrespected, or Chandler's being a little overvalued, in my opinion, guys. So for that reason, I do have a straight bet on Dan Hooker. I was able to get him at minus 130. I also bet him again at minus 135. So I have two bets on him, one at minus 130, one at minus 135. I also am considering betting the KO prop at plus 215. I really like it here. I think that he gets a KO off of one of those knees or counter strikes, like I said, the way that Chandler's been knocked out in the past. But I think this is a great matchup for Hooker. I think that this is my one of my top bets of the fight, and I will be on Dan Hooker. All right, guys, it is here, the main event for UFC 257. The man, the myth, the legend, Conor McGregor taking on Dustin Poirier, and this is a rematch. First time Conor McGregor gets the early knockout round one. Guys, first thing we got to remember is that was, I think, 6.5, almost 7 years ago. They were both fighting at 145 pounds. Both fighters have significantly changed since then. Let's talk about Conor first, guys. First off, guys, Conor just seems to be focused. I am not a huge Conor McGregor fan. I am not a Conor McGregor hater either, though. But what I will say is he does seem focused. He seems like he has figured out whatever he needed to figure out in his personal life. Maybe it's a facade. Maybe I'm buying into it, and he's just really good at selling the picture. And that's possible. He's great at that. And so, in my opinion, he looks more focused than when he fought Donald Cerrone, when he fought Khabib, when he fought Nate Diaz for the second time, Eddie Alvarez, all of those things. He's always had a lot going on in his life, Floyd, all of that stuff. But I think he seems focused and determined now on leaving that legacy back where he was, that hunger when he was coming up. Now, will you ever have that hunger of when you're broke and don't have the money and they're coming up and trying to provide for your family? I don't think so. I don't think that can truly be emulated. So he's got all the money in the world now, but he really seems to want to leave a legacy for his kids and his family. And who knows? Maybe that's all BS or whatever, but I seem to be buying into it. He seems just extremely focused. He seems to be in great shape. Coming in at 155 pounds, championship weight, seem to make weight no problem. So, here we go. Guys, Conor, he's great at maintaining distance. He has that wide stance, great left hand. It's always down the middle, right on the butt, accurate, precision. You know the story, guys. Conor touches you, it's over, and that's what it's done. Great spinning kicks. This guy's done it all. I mean, look what he did to Cowboy, with the shoulder strikes. He's dangerous everywhere. And the thing that scares me is that it's just the Conor McGregor effect. How will Dustin handle that? First time around didn't handle it great. Got to him. This time doesn't seem to have the mental aspect quite the same. They seem to both be in a good spot. And how will he handle the Conor McGregor aura and atmosphere of fight night again? Here's the other thing with Conor. He's always great early on. Round 1, round 2 is usually always Conor. Even if you look at the Khabib fight, he did his best in early. Same with, even if you look at his boxing match with Floyd Mayweather. Same exact thing, guys. He's the kind of guy that starts to fade as the fight goes on. Something to kind of look at is the over-under round props 2.5 rounds for this fight. And I think that if you think Conor's going to win, then I think you might as well bet the under 2.5, because right now you can get the under 2.5 at minus 185. Conor McGregor sitting at minus 315. I don't know, guys. I just think that the later this fight gets, the more chances Dustin Poirier has to get the upset. So let's talk about Dustin Poirier. This guy has greatly improved since his last fight with Conor. He has had championship fights and been a champion. He's fought in the 4th and 5th round, and he does have a clear advantage if this fight gets there. My question is he hittable? Can he be hit this fight? I think if he decides to slow play it and really can try to just slow the pace down and get through those first couple rounds and potentially get the fight to the ground, he does have great submission. But even he's a very tough guy. Ever since moving to 155, Dustin's chin issues seem to have gotten a lot better. He seems to be able to withstand it. But granted, there's outliers, Eddie Alvarez, all that stuff, But I just think that, Dustin's takedown attempts when he comes in are typically high. He's a body lock guy, also comes in above the hips. And I just think watching Conor McGregor and his takedown defense, even against Khabib and other guys, unless you are going to get low and under his hips, you are going to struggle to get the takedown against Conor McGregor. Not impossible, but tough. As the fight goes on, it gets easier and easier. So it will be really interesting to see how low Dustin gets. I think that's going to be key. If he can really switch his levels and get lower here, it gives him a better chance. So my prediction, Conor McGregor, round 1 or round 2. I really like this under 2.5. But I also don't think if you wanted to, I think if you wanted to sprinkle Dustin Poirier, round 4, round 5, I think that might be a good way to go. I know there's a lot of casual bettors out there who love just throwing $5 on something that could win them a couple hundred. And when I look at the odds right now, Poirier to win in round 4 right now is sitting some sites plus 2,800, round 5 plus 3,300. So I mean, guys, you put $5 down, and there's $150, guys. If he pulls that out in round 5, but I think that's Poirier's path to victory. But yeah, if you want to hedge on the round prop, if you end up betting around on the under, that's probably what I'm going to do. I'll probably hedge with Poirier round 4 and 5. But guys, this is possible. We could see Dustin Poirier really just come out here and be strong, survive what Conor has, dictate the pace, and just start to show his toughness, survive, have better striking defense than what we've seen in the past, and just start to lay it on the pressure on Conor come round 3, 4, and 5, and really take this. What's the odds this fight goes to decision? I mean, it's said at over at plus 300. They don't think it's going to happen, guys. Poirier to win by decision plus 500. McGregor decision plus 750. So guys, they're not predicting this fight to go all the way. I think this fight is McGregor early round 1 or 2, or Poirier round 3, 4, 5. And I'm gonna go with Conor McGregor. Like I said, round 1 or round 2 knockout. But nothing would surprise me here, guys. Honestly. But yeah, I really like that under 2.5, and you never know what could happen if they slip, scramble, get on the ground. Dustin gets a submission in. Conor starts to tire out. You're covered there on the under 2.5. So that's where we are tonight, guys. And that concludes all the fights. Alright guys, thank you so much for listening. I really appreciate it. And if you guys got any value out of this, or you guys liked any of this, you learned anything, you got any important information that might help you make some money, or even if you just wanted to learn more about the fights, or if you're gonna freaking fade me, I don't care, guys, but just like the video, please. I really appreciate that. It's the first video I've ever made. I've been around social media for a while, but as far as YouTube goes, I've never been a content creator, so this is my first time making a video, guys. I know how important it is to get likes and subscribers, so please, guys, subscribe. I'm planning on making a video or show before every single event, UFC event, for all of 2021. Sometimes they'll be quick, sometimes they'll be long, but I'm always just going to be looking to find value, find areas where I think we can make money, and sometimes, guys, there'll be areas where I don't have a pre-fight bet, but I think there could be a good spot to look live, and I'll try to mention it all there, guys. Just comment below if you guys would want to see anything else, or let me know how you guys see these fights going, guys. should be a great night of fights. I'm really looking forward to the first pay-per-view of 2021, the return of Conor McGregor. And yeah, guys, please like and subscribe, and let me know what you guys think. And I hope you guys all make some money, cash some tickets. And yeah, man, this is the UFC Money Train. Let's do it.